iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams, race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight we got a great one here with the American Sim Racing Club Living Legends. These guys taking the 87 cars here to the old school Watkins Glen circuit here as we get cars loading up on the grid. We're going to go run through tonight's starting order for the 33 lap event. And 33 laps may seem short, but I tell you what, especially on this road course, folks, it could get out of hand very quickly. One mistake in a corner, and these things are a handful to save. So, leading the field to green with the quick time here at Watkins Glen in qualifying, Brett Hahn and the Wawa number 71 machine will lead the field to green to his outside. The 51 of Ron the Hitman Hart, sponsored by Harley Davidson, rounds out the front row. Rolling off third is the 35 machine of Hayden Swank. Fourth being the 38 of Dave Payne. Fifth is the 951 of Brian Wilderson. Sixth is last week's winner, Tanner Tallarico, in the 1. Seventh is Nick Fleury in the 25. Eighth is Devin McDonald in the 18. Ninth is Justin Callahan in the 75. 10th is Tim Rogers in the 48. 11th is Scott Negus in the 55. 12th is Caden Bailey in the 71. 13th is Caleb Maldowski. 14th is John DeMeester. 15th, Jeff O'Quinn. 16th, Justice Young. 17th, Zach Heiser. Stephen Hoffman, 18th. 19th rolling off is Zach Heiser, and that is the starting field as we go green flag race in the field, already diving down into turn number 1. And we got Brett Hahn out there and lean, Ron Hart in second, and further through the field, side by side through the S's. Can they make it work? Right now, Brian Wilderson gets around Justin Callahan. Now Dave Payne gets around Tanner Tallarico, and here comes Devin McDonald around the outside. So 17 cars taking the green flag here tonight at Watkins Glen, and so far, everyone's still on track, but how long can they stay like that? As one car coming in hot here into the carousel. That's a 71 machine, or 71 on the car. Caden Bailey with a good move, able to hang on to that thing, so he makes up a handful of spots into the braking zone. And as you saw, folks, no bus stop here tonight, so these drivers gonna have to take the carousel a little bit different because we are using the 1987 layout out in front. Lap number 1 in the books. Brett Hahn will lead the first lap here at our one and only road course on the schedule. Brett Hahn, Ron Hart, Hayden Swank, Nick Fleury up 3 spots from that start. He sits in 4th. Brian Wilderson rounds out the top 5 here at the moment. As one car a little sideways, Caleb able to save it for the most part. Scott Negus also around. Caleb Modulewski out here now at the back of the field. He's going to have his work cut out for him here tonight, as it looks like most of the rest of the field able to get strung on out. Right now we got a battle for the 10th position. Right now Tim Rogers trying to work over the 071 machine of Caden Bailey as they head into the carousel, and you can see a lot of braking into that. These cars actually get a little bit of air going over that crest out of the back of the bus stop, so these drivers having to stay on point all night long. They cannot afford any sort of big mistake, let's say. Take a look at the 38 machine. Dave Payton right now sitting in 7th. Right now losing 3 spots from where he started, but hoping to have a good run. Payton having a lot of practice laps here tonight, trying to have a good run by the end of this. Right now sitting heat number 7 here at the moment. Take a look here side by side now. Stephen Hoffman trying to work over 71 machine on the car, or the 071 in the time and scoring. Bailey will swing it out wide, and Hoffman will get on around, move Stephen Hoffman up to 11th. Hoffman did not qualify, but biggest mover in the first 3 laps right now, up 7 positions from where he qualified. Right now, one of the closest battles on track is what we're looking at here. Hoffman will dive out from behind the 48 machine of Tim Rogers. Stephen Hoffman will try and get on the binders hard. 1 car around in the carousel. That is Justin Callahan. Callahan with a lot of front end damage because of that. So Callahan, our first big incident here tonight. He'll get that thing rolling, as it looks like Scott Negus also around there. Negus part of the Blue Oval Racing, same with Stephen Hoffman. So one new team just formed between Caden Bailey and Caleb Mazowski. Right here, battle on the speedway for a minute. Tanner Tallarico putting the pressure on McDonald. McDonald a little bit loose. McDonald almost goes around more sideways. He's trying to hang on to that car, able to get that thing rolling, but that opens up the doors for Stephen Hoffman to say thank you very much, and I'll take 2 spots for the price of 1. So Hoffman inside the top 10. He's the man on a mission at the moment. Up into 7th, up 11 spots from where he started here tonight. So Devin McDonald losing a handful of spots now, loses the spot to the 71 of Caden Bailey. So we go to the other 71 car out here leading the way. Brett Hahn continue out in front for the first 5 laps. Hayden Swank has closed in on our 2nd place runner, Ron Hart, just a little bit. So Hart going to start feeling the pressure from Swank for that 2nd position here tonight. 5 laps in the book, 1 car off. That's the 71 machine of Bailey. Bailey able to get that thing rolling again, only losing 1 spot, maybe 2, is now Jeff O'Quinn in the McDonald's number 94 machine. Will go on around him on the front stretch here. Get on the binders conservatively, and Jeff O'Quinn now trying to put his name into the top 10. He just has to get around 1 car in front of him. Next closest car in front of him is the 18 machine of Devin McDonald. So after Bailey's hot start, he has fallen back outside of the top 10 here at the moment. With a little bit of time, we're going to try and throw on the track map. So try and keep track of your favorite drivers out there on track as this field continues to get more and more spread out. Right now, no real close battles on track at the moment. Track map on the right side of our screen, folks. We see the green circle around that car number. That is the car we are looking at right now. So you can kind of see there's a group of about 4 cars at the front stretch, then to Brian Wilderson, who you see get a piece of the wall there coming off that final corner. He kind of is in his own island. Then Dave Payne brings up pack number 2 with a lot of cars in that one. So if any car makes a mistake from Payton on back in 6th position, you could lose a handful of spots in a hurry. We go back up to that battle for 3rd. Now Hayden Swank losing the back end of Ron Hart just a little bit. Now here comes Nick Fleury. Fleury up 3 spots from where he started, like I mentioned before, able to keep in that spot. But now Fleury getting in a rhythm and reeling in that 35 machine of Hayden Swank. All 3, let's say 4 out of the top 5 looking for their first win of the season. Only car in the top 5 that has won a race this season so far is our race leader at the moment, the 71 machine of Brett Hahn. So Ron Hart still keeping the pressure on Hahn, about a half a second between them. Hasn't really grown, hasn't really shrunk between them. Each of them a little bit better in some corners. As the best battles on track, of course, still this top group, as everyone else still getting themselves sorted on out. Everyone's still on track. So only real big incidents we've had so far, Justin Callahan, who is down on pit road, probably making extensive repairs. So that is a tough break for the 75 machine. Hoping for a good run tonight. Will not happen. So Hayden Swank has caught this first group once again. Ron Hart a little bit loose into the carousel, and let's ride on board with Swank, see where he's making up this time here tonight. So we're gonna ride on board with the 35 machine of Hayden Swank here and try and get a lap around the speedway here tonight, as Swank currently sits in that 3rd position. You hear the cars going through the gears, 4 speeds here tonight. And I believe, talking to some of the drivers, not really leaving 3rd unless they really need some rotation. And then, of course, banging 4th high gear down the long straightaways, as we see Swank actually grabbing 2nd there. He had 2 shifts down the main straightaway, then hard braking into one. Hayden Swank having to work that wheel. Almost definitely get some wheel hop there. Now some tire spin out of there. And that shows you how much of a handful these cars are, because even though seems like everyone's on a Sunday drive, these drivers are wheeling it through the S's, playing with that throttle, trying to get that front end pointed where you want to get a big run out of the S's. Now the long back straightaway without the bus stop, then heavy braking into the carousel. You see that line there to the bus stop, that's pretty much where you're braking, then floating it into the carousel, kind of trying to position where you want your car, either wrapping this yellow line or maybe the double apex, as we see Ron Hart and then Hayden Swank just trying to get into the power a little bit too aggressively. These things have an 850 horsepower, so more horsepower than you could ever dream of. Not super wide tires, so these things are a handful on the road course. And you can see here as we ride on board with a lap of the 35 machine of Hayden Swank. So Hahn able to get in a rhythm now, about 1.5 seconds over Ron Hart, and we have 25 laps to go as we get a little bit of cloud cover coming on in. Through the S's is sunshine, but I think through the carousel we'll start to see some dark clouds and maybe some potential of rain here as Devin McDonald goes off turn number 1. Looks like same with the 71 machine of Cade Bailey. So both those cars losing a lot of spots here tonight. Both of them find themselves now in positions 11th and 12th at the moment. Field starting to string out more and more, but Dave Payton now becoming under fire from the 86 machine of Stephen Hoffman. So this could be a battle for 5th at the moment, as Hoffman is starting to, well, I should say Hoffman continuing to charge through the field here, as this time by the leaders will hit the start finish line here. And Ron Hart down on pit road, the first car down on pit road. So Hart breaking this race into thirds. He will be the first taker down pit road. Everyone else staying out on track here. We keep an eye on the battle for that now fourth position as Stephen Hoffman has closed the gap. And now 2 car lengths make that maybe 1 now as they head into the S's. Hoffman keeping Payton honest through the S's in case any mistake, no mistake out of the 38 machine. So they will continue to run like they said, as it looks like the 55 machine is Scott Negus around here, and some heavy front end damage to that 55 machine. So Negus will try and get that thing back to pit road. Looks like he'll get that thing safely. So a tough break for the 55 machine as he lifts that thing to pit road. With Hart pinned from second, now Hahn has about a 3-second advantage over Hayden Swank, who currently sits in second, and they continue to stay out on the racing surface. So only cars down on pit road. 51 machine of Ron Hart, who has cycled out right out of the carousel. So about 35 seconds off the race pace as Nick Fleury now gets around the 35 machine of Swank. So it goes Hahn, Fleury, Swank, Payne, and Hoffman at the moment. Stephen Hoffman still on the back bumper. Payne waiting for that mistake. Hoffman has been quick and been able to get through the field in a hurry. Now it's going to be a tall order as we take a look at the race leader through the carousel here. And the back end steps out on the 71 machine. He will spin it to the inside wall. He will collect his teammate Nick Fleury. Fleury into the wall hard through the carousel. So tough break for our race leader Brett Hahn, who has a mental error there in the carousel. Not sure what happened, but it involves Nick Fleury, who just got up to second, now falling all the way back to 6th, maybe even 7th. I assume we'll see both those cars down on pit road, but that is a tough break for the drivers running 1 and 2 at the moment. So Hayden Swank taking over the point here tonight. So now Hahn does come down pit road. So it goes Swank, Payne, Hoffman, Tallarico, and then Tim Rogers, as we see the strategies continue to unfold here tonight at Watkins Glen. So Stephen Hoffman still all over the back bumper of Dave Payton. This is the best battle on the speedway here tonight, folks. As Hoffman gets a good run through the S's, does he look to that inside of Payton? Yes, he does. He'll look to the inside here as they'll haul down to the carousel. He'll dive back in line, just show the nose on out there. Try and force Payton into a mistake, but Payton holding strong now in that second position here tonight. So Payne continues to lead this pack. Tanner Tallarico has started to join in this battle here with 22, now coming to 21 laps to go as Hayden Swank heads down pit road. Now Dave Payton takes over the point here with Stephen Hoffman on the back bumper of the 38 K&N machine. So now we are looking at the battle for the race lead here tonight. And with a little bit of battle, let's do some turn 3, turn it up here for a moment, folks. Alrighty, folks, we come back here to some racing action. Right now, picking up the track here with Hayden Swank here. Swank cycling out second in the pit road sequence here. Hart way in front, so Hart definitely pulling a different strategy. Probably not taking any tires if I had to guess with his pit stop length. Hart, of course, the soonest down on pit road on lap 11, so Hart will be the closest on fuel if he does spread this race out evenly. Right now, Dave Payton, our race leader, down on pit road. He will take the rest of the field with him. Tim Rogers, Brian Wilderson, as Rogers is a little bit sideways. Did he get that thing slowed up enough down on pit road speed? Well, with this, we keep an eye on the 51 machine, who will cycle back out in front of the race lead. So Ron Hart, the overall race leader here at the moment, as the field has gotten very, very spread out here tonight at Watkins Glen. Of course, no yellow flags here unless something big happens, and we got throw for safety right now. No big incidents, as it looks like the 071 machine, Caden Bailey, hard front end contact into the carousel. Looks like a lot of left front damage as that thing sparked, and then yeah, that left front definitely broke on that car. Bailey gonna take it off the racing surface, and we'll bring it back pit side. So tough break for the 071 machine, making his debut here at a tough track with a tough car combination here with 87 cars at Watkins Glen. One car I gotta highlight here tonight, the Pontiac is in iRacing and looking sweet right now. Only car being ran by the Pontiac is the Deuce machine of John DeMeester. DeMeester having the second most starts in the league. He actually getting overpassed by Dave Payton. Payton being the Iron Man of ASRC at the moment here with the most starts. But we got to highlight this sweet looking car, and it's the Pontiac, just added to iRacing. I tell you what, it looks sweet. I love the back window on this Pontiac. Should be a good car, especially at the Super Speedway when we head back to Talladega later in the season. Right now, closest battle, Ron Hart, undercut him. So Payton now behind them, but with fresher tires. So we'll have to see how this works on out. Can Payton keep the pressure on the two cars in front of him? But Stephen Hoffman up 14 spots if we were to throw the checkered flag right now. From starting 18th now up to 4th here and inside the top 5. As 01 car, Scott Negus inside the wall here in the carousel. He'll keep that car rolling, but a tough day for Negus continues to get tougher as he'll find the wall once again and now match the left side damage on that right side of the number 55 machine. Luckily for him in the team points, Stephen Hoffman having a good run, so that is what he wants to see from the blue oval team. Out in front though, horsepower happenings. Ron Hart out in front. Then Team No Name, Hayden Swank in second. Then RHU Racing, Brett Hahn with that mistake, still able to recover to third. Stephen Hoffman fourth. Tanner Tallarico and D's Lugnuts Racing in fifth. Dave Payne sixth. Seventh is Brian Wilderson. Eighth is Jeff O'Quinn. Ninth, Nick Fleury. 10th, John DeMeester. One car who we haven't mentioned here too much at all today, Zach Heiser. Heiser, not a fan of the road courses. He did not have this circled on the schedule here tonight. A little bit of front end damage on the ASRC number 14 machine, but Heiser though just outside the top 10, so he's kind of hoping maybe he can squeak out a few spots if some other drivers make some mistakes. But Heiser's got to step on the throttle because we got the race leader right behind him. So Heiser, last car on the lead lap as Ron Hart puts the 53 machine one lap down there behind him. So Hart having to deal with a little bit of lap traffic, but so far able to navigate it cleanly, as it looks like everyone else still out on track, still putting in laps. So we'll keep an eye on any racing action. Of course, still the closest three-car battle here at the moment. Stephen Hoffman, Tanner Tallarico, and Dave Payton all in this battle here from fourth on back on the speedway. Of Hoffman for that fourth position. So Tallarico trying to get that position before we have another set of green flag stops. One car, so I believe that's the 18 machine of Dev McDonald. Sorry, the 14 machine of Zach Heiser. Heiser able to get that car going, but a little bit of a mistake in turn number 1 there for the 14 machine. As Hoffman a little bit loose out of turn number 1, trying to get on the throttle. That opens up the door for Tallarico to be right on the back bumper through the S's here. As we jump on board with Stephen Hoffman, looking back at the number 1 machine of Tanner Tallarico. As Tallarico continues to put on the pressure on Hoffman. You see them go through that long right-hand sweeper of the carousel. Head down to one of our few left-handers here tonight. And then into the final corner here. And we just got to watch, especially through turn number 1, these cars dancing on around as they head down the hill into turn number 1. It is such a corner where you got to be right on your marks, and there's no real good braking point as you're braking before that sign. And wow, Hoffman able to roll it really nice, but Tanner and Tallarico can get the exit off the corner and closes the gap tremendously on the 46 machine. So Tallarico definitely faster off of turn number 1 than Hoffman in front of him. Heiser now down off of pit road. One car out of sorts. It looks like the 18 machine of Dev McDonald. McDonald will get that car rolling. He will lose it again a second time. And watch out, guys. And everyone able to make it on by as McDonald got those rear tires hot, tried to get that car rolling. And that opens up the door for Tanner Tallarico. Now looking to the inside of Stephen Hoffman. So Tallarico and Hoffman side by side for fourth. Tallarico will dive it in there and get the position, but here comes Hoffman back on the outside though of the final corner. He's gonna have to try a crossover one more time, as no, he gets some momentum. They go side by side and drag race to the start finish line, and Hoffman will defend the spot. That's an impressive move, making a pass on the outside, but with these two trying to fight for position, that has closed up Dave Payton once again to the back bumper. That's further up front. Battle for second as Brett Hahn has caught the 35 machine of Hayden Swank. Hahn able to get around Swank, so it goes Hart, Hahn, Swank, Hoffman, Tallarico. But these spots could change in an instant here as we have a great 3-car battle here. So race leader Ron Hart down on pit road for his final stop here with 12 laps to go. So that hands over the race lead once again to Brett the Jet Hahn now. This battle's continuing to rage on the speedway. Now Payton looking to get around Tallarico here for that 4th position. Oh, second place, Hayden Swank having trouble in the carousel. He gets that car rolling, but right in front of these cars. So Swank with a mistake there, and that will drop him back here to the battle with the cars behind him. So I assume we'll see Swank down on pit road this time with that right front damage to the 35 machine. That thing looks like it's affecting the handling here as he almost loses it once again, and big time send in there. He'll make contact with Stephen Hoffman. Somehow 3 wide here for a second at the Glen. Somehow everyone keeps it going in the right direction. Here comes Dave Payton. Payton will get a 2-for-1 in that corner and slide him behind Stephen Hoffman. Wow, that could have been very bad for those guys, but somehow everyone hangs onto their cars and we continue racing and facing in the right direction. So Swank, I would have to bet, will come down pit road this time. That 35 machine looks pretty wounded, and he's losing a lot of time to cars around him. So not the break that Swank wanted here late in tonight's race. Looks like the 55 machine Anigas down on pit road here. I have a feeling we'll probably see a handful of drivers down this time, not to let Ron Hart undercut them too much here. As this time by, we will see 10 laps to go. Looks like Devin McDonald having a little bit of issue. Gets that car rolling off at turn number 1. Tanner Tallarico trying the undercut here on these guys. He'll head down pit road for the final time here with 10 laps to go. On out there in front, Hoffman in second with Payton right in tow. And Swank does stay out for another lap. I don't know if I agree with that call from the crew chief there, as Swank continues to limp around this 35 machine, which definitely isn't handling like it was before. Caleb Modulewski here in the 053 machine. His pain are taking a while here and getting him his pain. Hopefully next week, I heard from him in the crew that he should have something down, but yeah, tough race. He's been not on the good end of things in official races. If you do iRacing and know official and know how hectic that can be, Caleb not having a string of good luck in those things and hoping to turn the tides. And here tonight, putting together a decent race, at least keeping that car on track for the most part, but definitely was hoping maybe for better, but could possibly sneak in a top 10 with him heading down pit road for the final time here tonight. Stephen Hoffman down on pit road, so that puts Payton by himself, able to get some clean track around him. So he's able to turn up the wake and try and put down a good lap to try and come out pretty close to that one car and the 86 machine of Stephen Hoffman. Our race leader, Brett Hahn, down on pit road. Dave Payton will go around another circuit, so Payton will take over the race lead here tonight. We're going to try and get a truck race update for you guys tuning on in here tonight. Truck race in 24 laps to go. Christian Eck is out in front. Top four, though, all playoff drivers here, though, tonight. Dave Payton out on track. Ron Hart currently sits in second. With those strategies, Hart has able to check on out in front of the field over the 951 of Brian Wilderson, who has not pitted yet, and then the 71 machine of Brett Hahn. So Hart, one of the few clean cars out here tonight and making it work. He should cycle out to the race lead when Dave Payton probably pits this time by here. Payton actually staying out, trying to stretch out this fuel here tonight. He will see 7 laps to go here at the start finish line. Tanner Tallarico, Hayden Swank in a battle here. So with Tallarico pitting a little bit sooner than the 86 machine, you can see the gap, about 3-second difference between the two of them. So Hoffman's gonna have to give a big chase to try and catch that number 1 machine and 35 as Tallarico swings it way wide there through the left-hander. So Payton out in front, has not pitted yet for the last time. Hart has pitted. He'll take over the race lead. Wilderson has not pitted, and the rest of the field, I believe, has made their final stop here tonight. Stephen Hoffman, best lap for himself last time by. So Hoffman pushing it, trying to catch those 2 cars in front of him, that being the 35 machine of Hayden Swank and maybe the number 1 machine of Tanner Tallarico. As we take a look at our race leader, Dave Payton in the K&M machine, still stretching that fuel. He stays out yet another lap here tonight at Watkins Glen. This time we'll see 6 laps to go. You can see the time difference. So last time by, Payton with a 1:16.8. Ron Hart last time by a 1:15.69. So a second faster each lap as one car slow off of turn number 1. That is the 18 machine of Dev McDonald. McDonald just hoping for this race to end. Has not had the night he wanted and just hoping to see that checker flag and call it a night. For 6th position, Stephen Hoffman has got around Hayden Swank. Now Hoffman tries to set his sights on the number 1 machine of Tanner Tallarico. Hoffman about half a second quicker than Tanner Tallarico last time by, so Hoffman is closing the gap. The question is, does he have enough time? About 3 seconds separate the two, so he's gonna have to hit those marks every single lap and at least take off that same time each and every lap here as Tim Rogers down on pit road for the final time. Now we'll head to Dave Payton, and this time the 38 machine will make the final stop of the night. He will come down pit road and hand over the race lead to Ron Hart here with an open palm from the flagman. Ron Hart will see 5 laps to go left tonight here at Watkins Glen. So Hart takes over the lead, Payton down on pit road. Same with Brian Wilderson. So those two, the last cars to head down for their final scheduled stops. And it's going to be very close off of pit road between the one of Tallarico and Payton, as Payton will get that car up to speed, but Tallarico already at full song and about 5 seconds back, so Tallarico gonna have to really hit his marks here to catch the back bumper of Payton. Payton with a quick stop there. I believe Payton just gassing and going for that final pit stop here tonight. So we will have to see how that works out. Tallarico taking all 4 tires, so Tallarico having the tire advantage. Will it be enough to catch that 38 machine who's working over a little bit lap traffic of the 55 Negus? Ron Hart to the start, finish straight. We'll see 4 laps to go as we continue to watch this gap try and close on up. Tallarico now within 4 seconds of Dave Payton. Ron Hart working over a little bit of lap traffic. He will get by cleanly, so Hart has a lot of clean track in front of him here with less than 3.5 laps to go. Hart this time by, we'll see the 3 to go signal. Hart having no pressure behind. Hahn sits 12 seconds back, then 22 seconds back from our race leader is Dave Payne, who's kind of keeping the gap pretty even between him and Tallarico. Still about a 4-second gap between the two of them, so Tallarico getting around a lap car of Scott Negus. Now, next car in front of him is that 38 machine of Dave Payne, so Tallarico gonna try and close that gap if he can here with 3 laps to go tonight. So Stephen Hoffman, biggest mover out on the track, still up 13 spots as he sits in that 5th position tonight, starting outside of the top 10. Will find himself inside of the top 5 here with 2.5 laps to go. Corey Heim does win the truck race here tonight, as Ron Hart also trying to find victory lane here tonight. This time by Hart. We'll see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 long laps to go here tonight at Watkins Glen. Hart having no big mistakes tonight, and that's what you got to do to run well at a road course. Hart keeping that car on track all night long, keeping it facing the right direction. That car is looking clean and probably one of the cleanest here, as, oh man, Stephen Hoffman, that Ford motor letting go here with 2 laps to go. That is a heartbreak. Hoffman, like I said, biggest mover tonight, running inside the top 5. His night will end early, and I believe it happened right around the carousel. So a tough break to Stephen Hoffman as that motor goes up in smoke here, as he was running inside of the top 5. That is a tough break for the 86 and the Blue Oval Racing gang. We'll definitely send that motor back to R&D and try and figure out what let go, but looks like a catastrophic fail for the 86 machine, as this time by Ron Hart. We'll see the white flag here. 1 more lap to go around Watkins Glen. If Hart can string together these last 9 corners, he will be our 4th different winner in 4 races of the American Sim Racing Club Living Legend Series, and add his name to the record book of some of the legends. Hart, of course, having a great real-life season, picking up the championship in his street stock at the Owasso Speedway. And Ron Hart, definitely a lot more of a short track guy, but able to string it all together in the road course. And I tell you what, a lot of short track stuff kind of plays on over heavy braking, a lot of wheeling corners, and then really taking care of those rear tires and keeping those things underneath you playing these road courses. And if a short track guy can take the time, learn these road courses, they usually are halfway decent when you put a big heavy stock car on these types of tricky tracks. But Ron Hart having 2 more corners and horsepower happenings. Motorsports will see victory lane for the first time out of the final corner. Ron the Hitman Hart will pick up his first win of the season, making it 4 different winners here, as Ron Hart will cross the start finish line and pick up the win here at Watkins Glen. We head now to second with Brett Hahn, but we got to take a look at a battle as Tanner Tallarico has caught the back bumper of Dave Payne. Tallarico having, man, he wishes he had 1 more lap, as Tallarico will finish just behind Payne, able to close that gap to about 0.4 of a second. Man, that was a good race for 3rd in the final podium spot, but Payne able to hang on there. As we have the rest of the field coming on by, I believe the last car to hit the start finish line will be this 94 machine of Jeff O'Quinn, who will be the second, actually the biggest mover with Hoffman having that motor damage. Jeff O'Quinn will be the biggest mover, started 15th here tonight, will finish inside the top 10 in 7th. So a good run for that 94 machine, able to string it together, and he will finish in that 7th position, as that will do it here for the finishing order. We'll head over to race results, keep the show moving, and get everyone out here at a decent time. Ron, the Hitman Hart, will pick up the win here tonight. Brett Hahn will finish second. Dave Payton will round out the top 3. 4th going to Tanner Tallarico in the 1. 5th is Hayden Swank in the 35. 6th is Nick Fleury in the 25. A tough break for him tonight. Not his own fault, but will have to suffer from it. Jeff O'Quinn will finish 7th in the 94 machine, being the biggest mover here at Watkins Glen. 8th going to the 48 of Tim Rogers. Caleb Majuleski will finish 9th and inside of the top 10, with Zach Heiser sneaking his way into the top 10 and finishing 10th. 11th going to John DeMeester in the 2. 12th is Stephen Hoffman in the 86. 13th is Dev McDonald. 14th going to Scott Negus. 15th is Brian Wilderson. 16th is Caden Bailey. And the final car to make the call here tonight is Justin Callahan, finishing in 17th. Thanks again, everyone, tuning on in. Be sure to check out more racing action here on the Turn 3 Racing Network throughout the week. Be sure to check out Sunday nights with the American Sim Racing Club Pro Late Model Series. We had 40 cars open tonight to make a 22 car field. I have a feeling we'll see the same. So a lot of great racers there, a lot of great racing action. If you haven't checked out that series, I encourage you to. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Everyone have a good night, and we'll catch you sometime next week for race number 5 at Darlington.